Hello, hello, hello. Hello and greetings to absolutely no one in my live stream. I'm just kidding. But I'll give at least everyone a handful of minutes to join in. So if you're rewatching this, I would say just skip forward a couple minutes because we do want to give everyone ample time to be able to jump in here before we do start. Yeah, if you guys are waiting here for me to start going, the best thing I would say to do is just that you can start asking your questions down in the comment section. Or you can just say, "Good morning, Charlie. You look like a ding dong," or whatever you want to talk about. But again, I just want to give everyone at least 3, 4, 5 more minutes just to join in, so they can kind of get everything situated, maybe pull up their dashboard, and I'll do the same on my end. Oh, this is cool. As you guys can see, I am experimenting with this. Nice. I see I have a good amount of people in here now. Let's give everyone like just 2 more minutes. Sorry if I'm being slow. I see there's some comments coming in. Yay, some returners, some new names it looks like. I am happy, thank you. And Axe, I appreciate it. It's Thursday, so it's basically Friday Eve. It's 9 a.m. I already have a full cup of coffee. I really have nothing to complain about. I had a good night's rest. I had a lot of breakfast. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing happy too. And Annex, I appreciate you commenting that. As you guys know, I love this time of the week because I get to run my mouth and just talk about whatever comes to mind. Of course, we're going to keep it Ezoic-related, but if we get off topic, then that's okay. I'd rather of us have some fun with this more than anything. Okay, guys, I'm actually just gonna add. Someone just sent me basically a URL where you guys will basically be able to sign up for 2 free videos as one of our new features. So since you guys are in here today, we get some special love, which is really exciting. But I'm just gonna pull up this and then basically create a banner, so you guys can basically just click on it at any time in the live stream and work on creating those videos. But yeah, really exciting stuff. So while I look like I'm staring into the abyss of my computer, because I am, it will be for good purpose, I promise. Sweet. Cool. This is so cool. I'm excited for you guys to see this. We're at 9:05 now, so we'll give everyone like literally 80 more seconds. This is so cool. Banners. Create a banner. Two free. We add banner. Cool. Okay. So can you guys just do me a quick favor? You see that banner at the bottom of the screen? Can you just see if you can click that link there? And if you guys can't click that link, I'll just add it to the comment section a handful of times. Oh, someone says there's no volume. Can you guys hear me still? Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, this link at the bottom, I'm probably going to say this 5 to 10 times throughout the live stream, so please bear with me in my broken record status. But basically, you guys can I keep on saying that. You guys can click on that banner and that link there, and it'll basically take you to this Google Doc. And it'll basically show you that there's an early access request form for this AI video. I know I've said this a lot of times in the past live streams, and I was beating around the bush because I didn't want to expose the feature before it was ever out. But basically, we've created a tool where we can now convert written content into videos. As you guys know, I've said it a million times in the past, Ezoic is taking a huge focus on video content moving forward for 2022 and 2023. This is not just Ezoic, but it's kind of the general trend of the entire network. So yeah, this is gonna be a really exciting feature. We've already tested with a ton, so it says, request early access, but we've actually tested this upon, thousands of domains already, internally and externally. And it's gonna be really exciting. These will be added up to Humix. But yeah, if you guys can't click on that form at the bottom, please let me know. And I'll just add it to the, not clickable over here, okay. So I'm just gonna add it to the comment section, and I'm gonna probably bring it up a handful of times. But I'm hoping that I can maybe somehow make this clickable. But yeah, that'll work for now. But to take a step back, as you guys may or may not know, my name is Charlie. I'm from the Access Now onboarding team. We are the elite team at Ezoic. I'm just kidding. But no, we are a team of about just short of 10 of us in total, spread out across the world. We kind of cover many different time zones. You guys have probably seen me in Twist a handful of times. Sometimes I email you guys. Sometimes I do respond in tickets as well, or you guys are returning. But again, I'm really happy you guys are here. I think this is a really useful time, hopefully for you all, but also myself, because I love hearing what you guys have to say about our program. Some of you guys might say, hey, you know what? The sign-up process and the onboarding process was great, and it wasn't that hard, and it wasn't that hard, but this one step or these two steps or these two things were really confusing, or I really got stuck up on this, or I wish I had more insight as to what the step actually does, or maybe I wish I had someone look at my site prior to, applying to Google, blah, blah, blah. But I really want to encourage you guys to basically have no filter and kind of just go off in the comments. Of course, I want you guys to keep it appropriate and related to Ezoic. But again, if you guys do have issues with the program or you don't like the way we do run things, seriously, I'm not going to take it personally. Just post it down in the comment section. I would much rather make changes so you guys do have a better onboarding process or setup or optimization process than just keeping it quiet and kind of moving on. Even if you're thinking there like, hey, I already kind of went through it, like it doesn't matter, I'm not going to bring it up and create havoc. You could probably save yourself from a second setup if you add a domain later, or you could save another publisher that was having the same issues. Cool, let's start going through some of these questions. All right, to start off, Umar says, hi there, hope you're doing well. I am doing great, thank you. I don't need to go off another tangent about how I have a delicious cup of coffee and some good breakfast, but I really do hope you guys are all doing well. I know it's a grind working as a publisher. You're kind of your own boss and your own manager and your own work at the same time. So I know it can be a ton on you guys mentally and physically, writing content, staying top of it. I know it's a lot of stress. So I think maybe now is a really good time to just take a handful of deep breaths, give yourself a good pat on the back, because I hope you guys are all doing well as well. And then Umar also asked, I'm having an issue. I used to get mediation earnings. So it sounds like, but then Umar says, but I did change in ads, then it stopped giving earning. So Umar, my first question is going to basically be, what changes did you make prior to the ads stop showing, or prior to the ads not, giving earnings through mediation? I would probably ask a follow-up question. Are you still seeing Ezoic ads and you're still seeing Ezoic revenue? If so, one thing I would probably ask you to check is to go into your AdSense dashboard. In the AdSense dashboard, you'll find the third parties tab there. Click on the third parties tab and you'll see Ezoic, and you want to make sure that Ezoic is active. If that's toggled off, then the link for mediation will not be made, and then the mediation earnings will then go to 0 to none. But if I missed a hit on that question, just elaborate in the comment section, and I'll be happy to circle back to that. How do I go back to my banner? Annex, thank you. I appreciate that. That was really sweet of you. But I am very happy. I love being here with you guys. That is for sure. Umba says, hello, sir. I mailed you thrice. Please help me. I need a Ezoic approval, sir. I'm struggling to get the approval since 9 months. Nobody is replying to my email. I don't know what is the issue. I definitely check my email a handful of times of the day, and I have not seen anything, so you might not be reaching the correct email. But Umba, if you want to explain exactly what approval you're looking for, comment down in the comment section. If you're comfortable with giving your domain name out in the comment section, do that as well, and I can pull it up really quick. Especially if you're really comfortable with it, I can pull it up in the live stream and actually just show you firsthand what's going on. That doesn't apply just to Humbo, but it does for actually anyone if you're willing to do so. Anak says, Charlie, the new topic discovery tool in the SEO tab suggests me really weird things. So funny. So yes, that is going to be something we can look at if you would like. Let me just pull it up on my end. I know, I don't know your domain name off the top of my head. I can look at yours specifically if you want me to and kind of troubleshoot firsthand over here. But if not, I actually totally understand. I don't blame you. That's totally fine. But I'm curious of what these really funny things are. As you guys know, Google does push these algorithm updates every now and then. One of them being more recently, it seems like a lot of the times Google's kind of trying to hone down on sites that kind of have irrelevant, kind of sporadic content. Sometimes it's not perfectly aligned with the niche. Sometimes the niche has 5 different ones all in one. But yeah, Google is pushing these algorithm updates, and although they're not 100% transparent of how it goes, I'm curious to hear what your SEO tab suggested, as it sounds like it was some weird things. But again, I'm really, really curious of what it says, because this is also a beta feature. So Anax, if you're like, hey, this actually makes no sense from an SEO standpoint, let us know, and I'll be happy to take that feedback directly to the team. That's also why these live streams are kind of beautiful. You guys can kind of give me that direct feedback. Beatrice says, hello, Charlie. Hello, everyone. Hello, Beatrice, and hello, everyone as well. I'm happy you guys do acknowledge that we are kind of like a community here in Access Now. We're all working together at the same time. Beatrice says, Charlie, I can't get access to the backend of my WordPress website, and I get the error message, error communicating with Origin since 8/17. So it's all really new for me. And she added with an asterisk as an edit, I'm since 8/17 with Ezoic, so it's really new for me. Okay, I understand. So what this most likely means is, Beatrice, is your host is most likely blocking the Ezoic IPs. So that way, when a user request path, even your own, does go through our CDN, it actually changes the actual IP of the user to an Ezoic IP. So sometimes your host will freak out and say, uh-oh, Beatrice, I've noticed the same handful of IPs going through or visiting your site 100 times a day. This is clearly bot traffic. We're going to block it. So Beatrice, the best thing you can do is go to your host and ask them to whitelist the Ezoic IPs from this article I'm about to send right now. It's down at the bottom of the article. That's the second option. There's also another option in this article. You can basically set up an X forward header, or we call it an XFF, and that basically shows the actual IP of the user as it comes through our CDN. So it does not change to an Ezoic IP. That way your host will not see, reoccurring IPs over and over. But that is 99% of the issue. Your host blocking IPs. Beatrice, the one other thing it could be is maybe if you have some extra security either set up at your host or through a plugin, you can actually just remove and delete those. When you do integrate through our name servers, which you guys all do in this program, or Cloudflare, you do get access to our CDN, and our CDN does have the basic security that you guys will all need in order to stay secure. So you don't need to add anything extra on the back end. As you guys can tell, sometimes it just creates more issues. Big Tech TV says, hi Charlie, what's your thoughts on helpful content update, which is going to roll out this week? In terms of content wise, I don't know if you're referring to, the content month from this month, which is, technically then. But as you guys can see, we do have, well, depending on who you are, your content homepage will basically have a handful of things there for you guys to use, but I'm kind of curious what exactly you're looking for in terms of content update. Or was that the Google update you were trying to refer to then? But anyway, Big Tech TV, if elaborate a little bit more in the comment section, I'd be happy to answer. Johnny Katz, that is such an awesome name. Of course, I hear Johnny Cash in the back of my head, but Johnny Katz, that's awesome. He or she says, I turned mediation on, but for some reason, I don't have revenue from mediation for a few days since that. Why is that? And in parentheses, they added, I do have revenue from Ezoic. And they also elaborated later that says, I didn't put any AdSense code on my site. I just turned on auto ads. Okay, so you actually don't need any AdSense ads showing on your site. Mediation will take place 100% through the Ezoic placeholders that already exist on your pages. So you do not need to add more placeholders. You don't need to add AdSense ads or even enable auto ads. Johnny Katz, what I want to ask you to do is if you go to the monetization tab of your dashboard, find mediation. Once you hit on mediation app on the right side, what does it say under AdSense? Does it say AdSense with a green button that says Ad Network? Does it say pending underneath? If it does say pending, what I will have you do is to go into Twist, post a quick thread and say, hey Charlie, I was with you. I need my mediation link, and here's my pub ID. So I will need you to add your AdSense pub ID to that thread when you let me know that I need to link mediation, because that is basically the final piece that I will need to actually link it from the back end. But I'm assuming that's why you haven't seen any revenue. If it does say, if you click the mediation app and it says delete, that means it's actually fully enabled and you don't have to do anything. And all that means is that AdSense has not outbid Ezoic for your inventory yet. You won't see mediation earnings until AdSense does outbid Ezoic for a certain ad spot or an ad location. So if you're seeing it says delete under the app, and then you're seeing no mediation earnings, that's totally fine. No cause for concern. Especially if you only added it a few days ago, that's totally normal and it's okay. Ashish says consent management is set, but I don't see consent banner. Only my old consent management banner pops up, which I created from a plugin. So you can actually go to the privacy tab of your dashboard and set up absolutely everything you need there in terms of GDPR and privacy policy. I'm curious to ask where you are actually located. Depending on where you're located, you might see this pop up or not. But you actually still can use your third-party privacy policy. You just want to make sure you do add it in there. So if you go to your pub dash and then you find the privacy section of the dashboard, scroll down a bit and you'll see your URL, privacy policy URL, and you can basically just add it in there. I will basically be adding a lot of support articles. As you guys know, or hopefully you guys know, we have basically a library of articles. We call it our knowledge base. But essentially, every single question you guys do have, if it's not perfectly or directly answered in the article, which I'm pretty positive it is, this will probably give you a good idea of how to actually troubleshoot on your end. So if you're ever sitting here like, hey, I have an urgent issue, I reached out in Twist, but some time has gone by, maybe they're off hours, maybe I can't wait 10 more minutes. Always go to the support knowledge base, and then just search your issue in there, and it'll always pop up because it has a plethora of advice there. She also says, I'm having issue with Google Ad Manager while I'm trying to set. It keeps loading and loading. What should I do? Ashish, can you actually clarify what you mean by that? Because I'm not sure what you mean loading and loading. Did you already send the invite out to yourself? Are you having issues sending the invite to yourself? What exactly is loading and loading? If you mean that Google is just reviewing your domain, sometimes you do have to wait, sometimes up to 2 weeks. So that's totally normal. There's no issue with that at all. But again, just elaborate a little bit more on some of your guys' questions, because the more fine and detailed you get in your questions, the better I can answer without having to circle back. But I'm more than happy to circle back regardless. Charmaine says, I'm setting up my ads. I've installed Google Chrome extension already, so I have 2 more steps. I haven't seen anywhere that I can input payment information. Would I see it soon? So you should actually while you set it up, but if you're in the dashboard, Charmaine, you can actually go to the little personal profile in the very, very top right of the, this would be the top left. In the very, very top right of your dashboard, you'll have that little like head and shoulders personal icon. You can actually click on that, and then you'll see tax information, payment and charges, Ezoic account details, and I'm nearly positive it's under Ezoic account details. Just kidding, none of that. We're gonna go to the personal icon, payments and charges, and then you do payment methods or payment settings. Those will both be found there. But again, Charmaine, you want to go to the little personal icon in the very, very top left of your dashboard, right around my hand if this is the dashboard somewhere. But yeah. Charmaine, I already went into that one. But yeah, you can actually just go ahead and add that soon. But if you have 2 more steps, I would do those setup steps first, and then circle back and then add it there. Big Tech TV says, this is in regards to the helpful content. I was talking about the helpful content update by Google. What are your thoughts on this? So, I mean, my thoughts are just as valid as your guys' thoughts. I think personally, this update will be good for many, especially those that actually do kind of really stick to the status quo of what Google looks for. But as you guys know, what Google looks for is also kind of what me as a user of the internet, or you as a user of the internet also looks for. If I go to an article on something about like how to change your oil for a car, and I get tons of stuff that is not exactly helpful to what I'm looking for, if my answer never gets solved, or I don't even get the same topic of basically how to change my oil, then I think it's pretty valid for Google to say, you know what, you're not actually providing benefit to the users. So this new algorithm update might actually hurt your, kind of hurt your SEO. It's not going to be a perfect update. It might hurt some that is not very valid, and vice versa. But again, I think if you're coming from Google standpoint and you're saying, hey, when users come to Google and they look for an answer, we kind of want to ensure that what they're looking for is getting answered, because Google wants users to come back to the Google Search Console and use it again. And part of that being a successful business and a successful step, they're going to be able to offer the best advice, straight up to the user. So that way, I can actually get the answer I'm looking for. And I'm not, clicking through a handful of links and then going somewhere else looking for the same answer. But again, if I'm missing the head on this update, I believe that was basically what it was talking about. I was actually watching some videos through the Income School YouTube channel. They have some great insights. Ricky, I believe is his name. He's got a great head on his shoulders. Those videos are actually pretty awesome. So if you guys have not checked those out yet and you want to get some more insight on to maybe what exactly this update is and how it might or might not affect you, I would say head to the YouTube channel, but also head to the Income School YouTube channel. Fahad Burst says, my site, Google Ad Manager, is under review for 5 days. So this is actually normal. Unfortunately, the Ezoic review should only take a couple of days at most. We've been really quick about reviewing your sites. But as you guys know, you do also have to get approval from Google Ad Manager. And sometimes this can actually take up to 10 business days or around 2 weeks. There are some times where Google sees like kind of a backlog of some reviews. Sometimes they have holidays or other things going on. So like at the beginning of this month, for example, there was kind of a backlog and the review time was a bit slower. But now they're fully caught up. So if you're coming up on that 5 days, I would expect your review to be completed rather shortly. DoorShift says, hi, is it possible to use Ezoic without using the CDN and Leap? My site speed and Core Web Vital decreased after implementing Ezoic. So you will need to use the Ezoic CDN if you're going to use the Access Now program. But that does not also mean that you have to use Leap. Using our CDN actually will not have a negative effect on your site speed. So especially if you haven't enabled ads yet or anything else, simply integrating with our CDN will not create issues with your site speed. I'm curious of where you're getting these site speed metrics, because if you are using old tests that aren't valid, or basically, not valid, or if they're not, on point of what actually Google is looking for. What I was trying to get at is basically say is that some of these old speed tests actually use outdated metrics in order to analyze site speed. As you guys know or might be learning, is that Leap uses Core Web Vitals to access site or to analyze site speed, and Google is actually using these metrics in order for SEO and things like that. So if you are interested in those factors, which I believe all of you are, as that's where you get most of your organic traffic and most of your high-paying traffic, I would highly suggest moving away from page speed insights and GT metrics, because not only do they use outdated metrics for their site speed analytics, but they also use like a lab type setting. So basically the computer will basically scan the page and then kind of give its analysis through there. What Leap actually does is it uses real user data. So that's why right when you enable it, it's not going to give you an accurate score of exactly right now and then. You can test your pages through the Ezoic lab, so it will give a lab type or unoriginal view of your page. But once you make changes in Leap, it's good to make sure your entire site works, view them in the Ezoic lab to make sure things are working correctly and look right. And then you're just gonna have to wait time, because real users are gonna have to visit these pages. Leap will analyze those users and those metrics, and then those scores will reflect in the speed tab of your dashboard. So it will not be immediate. But again, those kind of three things you want to do: optimize, preview, and just wait. But to clarify on that as well, we do have thousands of sites that are, showing tons of ads, using videos, using our features that do have perfect Core Web Vital scores, and they're all green or even hundreds. So it is definitely not going to be just the factor of using our CDN and Leap is going to hurt your site speed. 99 times out of 100, there's going to be plugins, slower themes. Sometimes you're running pro versions of plugins that add tons of scripts. Basically, you want to think about the entire spectrum. It's not just CDN and Leap, it's plugins, your host, your themes, your pro themes, your widgets, your add-ons. Everything comes into the same equation of site speed, so it's not going to just be those things. Don't want to go off on too much of a tangent there, but I do think that is something important to cover. Endorship to add to this, he said, I used to work with Cloudflare and WordPress Rocket on my site. So if you did remove WordPress Rocket, which you do not have to, sometimes the best thing for you, Dorship, and everyone here in the live stream is to actually make sure that your cache hit rate is high, like a high percentage. The higher percentage is the higher hit rate, which will actually help increase site speed a ton. Decrease site speed, but improve site speed scores. I think you guys know what I meant there. But yeah, if you guys just removed WordPress Rocket or other caching, make sure you go into the speed tab of your dashboard, find the little caching tab, optimize all your settings right there. I can walk you guys through how to do that really quickly if you want me to. I have a test site pulled up already, so I can. But yeah, and then from there, you just want to wait and allow your cache hit rate to build back up, because that helps with your core web vitals, especially in terms of your LCP, which is largest contentful paint. But yeah, if you guys actually use the Ezoic lab, you can see basically what elements and things are getting flagged on your pages. I'm getting a little bit off topic, but yeah, optimize your cache along with optimizing Leap. It's very essential. Shurinsha, excuse me if I butcher that, I do apologize. They asked, how do I speak to someone about too many ads showing on my site? They look spammy, I have used multiple devices from friends, and the same issue persists. So this is basically going to be something in regards to your setup, but you can speak to me either right now, or you can head to Twist, and I'll basically be in there for the rest of the day, and we can go over your entire site speed, or your entire ad layout. But I really want you to consider basically how our AI works, and there's a handful of ways I can go with this. If you think there are a lot of ads showing and you're like, hey, even my users all think this most likely means there are ads outside of Ezoic that are being added to your page that need to be wrapped in Ezoic code. If other ads are on your pages and they're not wrapped in Ezoic code, our AI will not know what exactly is on the page entirely. So it might actually dilute your content with too many ads because you already have AdSense ads on the page that our AI does not recognize. But if you're talking about, you weren't even running AdSense prior, you only have Ezoic ads showing, the easiest and kind of the shortest step is to actually go into the settings tab of your dashboard, and then you can scroll down a good bit and you'll just see optimization goals, and you can actually change it from balance, which is kind of the default side of things, but we actually suggest because that that prioritizes user experience, and if we're prioritizing user experience, the engagement's going to be better, and if the engagement's going to be better, then the EPMV is also going to be better. So that'll actually just dial back the amount of ads that do show. We do have apps where you can basically disable ads on a certain amount of pages. We have our max ads per page app, which you can basically say, hey, if you have 1,000 words on a page, I want to make sure I'm not showing more than 10 ads throughout the entire thing. And you can basically kind of set rules like that. Or, if an article has 500 words or less, I only want 3 ads to show. So you do have 100% control. But it basically, I wouldn't say reach out to me in Twist, because I want to figure out, how you added your placeholders, either through the Chrome extension, through the plugin, or you hard coded them. I want to make sure there's no AdSense ads showing. I want to view some of your top landing pages and see how the ads look from that end. Another thing I want to do is I just want to check, your analytics, because some of the analytics might be showing that your users are actually engaging with your pages really good. So while you're so familiar with seeing your site and your content, that's everything you know. But in reality, sometimes a brand new user coming to your site might have no effect on the actual ads that are showing. So again, this can be very personal. Let me just check into this really quick before I get kicked out of this room. Sorry about that. But yeah, so while this is very subjective, I do want you to think about the perspective you do take coming to a brand new site versus your own site where you kind of build everything up from the floor up. But again, speak to us in Twist and we'll be more than happy to help. She says, continue with this account or use a different account to connect to Ad Manager. I click continue and it keeps loading and loading. I cannot set up an account. What's the issue? I've applied for AdSense and waiting their approval. I tried clearing cache, but the problem is still there. I have also messaged on Twist the screenshots. Perfect. If you're in Twist, then I can definitely help you out right then and there. Continue with this account or use a different account to connect to Ad Manager. Does this mean you're getting flagged for duplicate, or does this mean the fact that you are trying to send out an invite and it's not letting you? Again, I'm a bit confused because there are a handful of different scenarios that can come into play with this. I cannot set up an account. That's the issue. But if you applied for AdSense and you're waiting for the approval, sometimes you will have to wait for that approval to come through. But sometimes the Ad Manager will actually also approve your domain before AdSense even does. But again, I'll make sure to go into Twist directly after this to help. Colin asked a really good question here about Humix. Colin says, does Humix earnings get recorded and paid separate from the main Ezoic account? No. So if your Humix videos are getting views and impressions and everything, all of those earnings will be paid out through your Ezoic account. Yeah, it won't be paid out anywhere else. Big Tech TV also asks, any plans for integrating Ezoic ads and web stories for future? Or is Ezoic planning something for web stories? So I know this has been a huge topic of conversation, not only in our team, but kind of in a lot of Ezoic. I'm not sure exactly how web stories is built out. I'm pretty sure that's more of the issue we're trying to figure out. I'm sure they have already figured out, but I personally, they haven't told me or haven't figured out on my own. But we are hopefully planning on something for web stories. I'm not sure if this is the same scenario with AMP, but basically AMP was basically being externally cached by Google, which is why it was so hard for us to control exactly what goes onto the page. Not only that, once we figured that out, a lot of the engagement and actually doesn't go to your root domain. So that way the engagement for a lot of your guys' web stories is basically 0 seconds and the EPMV is nearly shot. But yes, I would say there are plans for it, assuming that Google does carry through with web stories moving forward. Dora says, I am on level 1 and not on access now at the point. The metrics came from Google Search Console. I'm not sure what the level 1 point is. I know we were talking about your site speed setup prior, but if you are in level 1 or access now, you guys can both be A, in this live stream, and B, in Twist. We kind of do cover both of these realms now, which is basically domains up to around the 20,000 visits. But the metrics came from Google Search Console. I wasn't sure if that was in terms of your traffic, of how you would get to level 2, or if that was in terms of your site speed. Just says, thank you for the advice. How do we get in touch with you on Twist, please? I'm actually in Twist. I'm in Twist all the time. I have my Twist open right now. If you guys are in Twist, you guys should see in any of the channels or threads that you guys are in. I did post a thread to this live stream. So if you want to just comment down and say, hey, Charlie, here's a link to the thread I have opened. I was in the live stream. Can you please help me out? Either that or just re-comment on your current thread and I'll be able to find that just as easily. I've had you trying to learn more about word count parameters. Okay, yeah, we can maybe touch on some of that now if you'd like. I'm not sure exactly what your question is. If I can't answer it, well here, I can easily do that in Twist. But I'm more than happy to at least give it my best shot here. Randall says, well, first off, welcome back, Randall. Happy to have you. He says, hi, Charlie. I still think my domain has too many ads. Okay, and I believe, Randall, I won't pull it up on the main screen yet, but if you are comfortable with it, can you just comment down real quick and say, hey, like it's okay if I pull it up on the live stream for everyone to see? If not, I can just, pull it up on the side and kind of give you my 2 cents as we are caught up. So. Okay. I'm going to your domain right now, Randall. And this is a great point, especially if you guys are saying, hey, I think there's too many ads. The first thing I'm checking out is your homepage. I only see one bottom of the page ad, then I see a couple in the sidebar as well. We can limit the sidebar ads if you would like, but I would say that maybe this isn't as big of an issue on the homepage because you do have, your About Us on the right. You have legal information, you have, a couple more articles, and then it isn't until the very bottom that you actually see more sidebar bottom of the page ads. So I'd say the homepage actually looks great. I do love this domain a lot. And then I go through here. I'm just going to pull up this Marina article in your sailing section. So first thing I noticed that when I first load the page, above the fold, I'm actually only getting one ad other than the bottom of the page ad. And then a couple of mid content. There's nothing in the middle of your sidebar there. That is something I would say will kind of benefit you a ton. And then you have sidebar placeholder that is floating. That's beautiful. A couple more. I would actually say this is more on the lighter side of an ad setup. I wouldn't say it's very light, but I would say it's on the lighter side of things. So I actually think that this is pretty dialed in. I mean, no native placeholder. You have like 2 videos showing at the bottom. We can work on those so they don't break up some of the links if you want. But I actually think this is a really good ad setup, to be completely honest. There are a couple extra too many sidebar ads, I would say. They're kind of all stacking up at the bottom. So maybe if you're comfortable with it, Randall, we can work on breaking up some of the mid sidebar content. Maybe you remove 2 of them from the bottom, just have the sidebar floating at the bottom, and then we can just maybe add one at the top of your sidebar or maybe just in the middle. I know you were just talking about you think it has too many ads, and here I am talking about maybe putting another one in the sidebar. But I actually think this setup looks really, really good. Of course, this is just one visit of myself, so it will change. Let me go to another article. But I do think that this ad setup is very solid. Definitely not on the heavy side of things. Because a lot of the times mid article, like for here instance, I have 4 straight paragraphs of content. It looks around 15 or so sentences or more. And then I only have one ad, and then I have another 3 or 4 paragraphs, and then another ad. So that's actually a really good looking setup. Of course, that's subjective, and if you want to remove more, we can easily help you with that. But I would not say that that setup is hurting your user experience at all. Manbila says, my blog is new with about 70 visitors per day. Currently, my EPMV is about $5, and 90% of my traffic is from the US, the UK, and Canada. Should I be worried about the low EPMV? Well, if we were to just go off the fact that 97% of your traffic is from US, UK, and Canada, and your EPMV is about $5, I would say that there's probably something in regards to the setup that needs to be touched. So if you're comfortable with it, please post your comment or post your domain down in the comment section, and I can go through that right now. Either firsthand, I can pull it up for the screen for everyone to see, or I can just kind of give you my 2 cents as I walk through it on the back end. I don't want to pull up your guys' domain and show it for, or show your guys' dashboard if you guys are not comfortable with it, even though I do think it'll be really beneficial for you and everyone here. But yeah, I basically would take first, I will look at all your content. I will look at your metrics to make sure that users are actually engaging, because if you have high quality content but they're not engaging, that's probably pointing to an issue either with maybe an error on your pages, maybe something isn't loading through. But again, this low of an EPMV with this high quality traffic from these areas, you should definitely be seeing a higher EPMV. So this is something we want to look at. Definitely something I want to look into. If you're comfortable with it, again, please just send it over and I'll be happy to do that. But for the time being, if you don't want to send it over, again, your best thing to do is just go to the knowledge base articles that we do have in Ezoic in our support section, and you'll find tons of really good articles like this one I'm about to send. It basically just says, how do I make sure I'm optimized for monetization? Looks like it failed to load through Facebook. I'm just going to comment down again and see if it goes through. Perfect. Charmaine clarifies here, says, for example, parameters for 1,000 word count only has 10 ads, or 500 words has 3 ads. Can we do that? Yes, you can. So Charmaine, if you go into the monetization tab of your dashboard, go down and find the max ads per page app, and then basically from there you can say, hey, if my article has less than 500 words, I only want 5 ads to show. And you can basically limit the amount of ads shown, like for that scenario. But if you're curious about maybe if your question here is actually how many ads should you be showing for X amount of content, either like 500 to 1,000 words, our AI is actually built out to learn how to basically adapt to this. not only to the individualized user, but to the actual content itself. So if you have 45 placeholders, let's say an extensive placeholder set up on a really long page, and one of your users visits the page that only has 500 words and it's half the length, our AI will not show the same amount of ads on a shorter article as it will the long ones. You do not need to worry about that. But yeah, if you're curious about how you can basically set rules to limit the amount of ads shown per word count, you can do this in the actual max ads per page app. Since Mambula says I've sent it already, I'm not seeing it in the comment section if that's where you sent it, Mambula, or if you sent it in. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the private chat either. But I can actually show you really quick where you can pull that up. Let me share my screen with you guys really quick. Oh wait, before I answer this, they said, I've tried using the max ads per page based on word count, but it doesn't seem to work. Only using Ezoic ads. How do I set it up, please? Okay. Man, Billy, can you explain what you're saying? You said, how do I send it, please? You just post your domain in the comment section down here, right where you said, how do I send it, please? Just put your domain name right there. But I'll show you guys really quickly actually how to just set up the max ads per page. Let me share my screen. Go to the dashboard, just to make sure you guys see it. Cool. So if you guys do go to the monetization tab right here, you guys can see your domain name. This is just an example site. So I won't actually be making any changes. This is not my domain, so I will not be making those changes there. But if I scroll down, we'll see our placeholders, template builder, mediation. This is what I was saying in terms of mediation earlier. If you see this delete network here, that just means everything's set up and you're all good. Back onto the point here. So this is basically where you can set the max ads per page. As you can see, it says control the optimization by restricting the number of ads you show on a page. This can improve UX and earnings. So if we want to turn this down, or excuse me, turn this on, I can do that really quickly. And then you guys can basically see here. So look, pages under 400 words, between 400 and 800, blah, blah, blah. So let's say the rule we want to create is, between these, we only want to show X amount of ads for desktop, mobile, and tablet. We can hit this little action icon, this little pencil edit icon here. Max ads, you can say, look, let's max, let's max 6 ads per page for 400 to 800. And then we can say, I want to do this just for mobile and tablet because desktop thinks, it's totally fine. You can basically set, mobile, tablet, or just tablet, or desktop, or all of them. And then you can select this just for your domain or for all your sites. And then you can simply hit save, and then you'll basically right then and there, you can set a max ads per page. I'm going to disable this because I don't want to create anything funky. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It's a really good tool there. But if you're saying, oh, I never thought of that, I never really minded it, there's no need to actually limit it, because if you do limit the amount of ads that you show, it can kind of hinder the long-term analysis that our AI kind of does to learn your users and your pages. So I would say if you're on the fence about, setting up rules, doing this or not, I would err on the side of not doing this. Just for that exact reason. We want to give our AI as many variables to test as possible. Colin says, biggest JavaScript execution time script is Detroit Chicago .js, Ezoic.net. What can I do to optimize this? So this script is actually already optimized. This isn't a Ezoic script. I would not suggest altering, editing, or removing, as it is pretty essential in how we will A, serve ads, or B, basically use another feature. I do believe it is for ads, if I'm not mistaken. But it's actually fully optimized already to be as slim and fast as possible. So when we do implement it on your site, it basically already is. So Colin, if you do have other optimizer plugins or features enabled outside of Ezoic, I would actually consider removing those because it can actually double the work in the script and actually slow down the site. Not only that, it can sometimes break the site. And then if you break the site and you basically have 2 optimizers enabled, it can create a lot of backlog and actually finding a solution for you. Before I answer these next couple questions, I'm going to say, guys, again, this free 2 AI videos that I have right here, this Google Doc, I'll share it in the comment section, but you guys can actually sign up to get early access to this new feature that we have, which is incredibly exciting. Basically, you guys can just sign up here. You can get your email, your full name, and then you can basically agree to this content reproduction agreement. You can enter the URL for the video conversion, and then basically what this tool will do is it will actually convert written content that you guys have into videos. That way you don't have to actually go on your own and create your own videos. Ezoic is basically going to work on saying, sorry, I'll comment it right there for you. Sorry about that, Shakti. It'll basically convert written content into videos for you as we do move forward and continue on with optimizing and using video placeholders and video ads. That is kind of the newest, most exciting feature that we're going to come out and basically just serve as a catalyst for creating video content. Madden's art. First off, welcome. I don't think I've seen you in here yet. My name is Charlie. You can only see it in the bottom corner, but it's hidden from this banner. They say under level access now, optimization opportunities. I'm not able to optimize page categorization. Big data category shows unknown and only one unknown line. I have categories for my blog. I want to make sure that your categories are actually defined, because if not, I think this is what's going to show as unknown, which is also why our optimization opportunities under levels is going to be showing that. But I would say if you do have those categories for your blog, make sure that they are defined. That way we're actually pulling that correctly into the analytics. Again, without knowing your domain name specifically, it'll be hard to kind of troubleshoot on my end to make sure that it's all set up. Carbon Language says, hi, thanks for the live support. My mediation tab shows pending for a long time. Do I need to do anything? No, but Carbon Language, can you please actually go ahead and post that into a thread and twist and just say, hey, my mediation's been pending for weeks now. Here's my pub ID. Can you link it for me? Because we can actually link mediation for you guys on the back end when it is in pending. The only thing that we will need is your pub ID. So once we have your pub ID, we can find your, we have your Ezoic account already pulled up, and we can basically link those for you and make sure that goes well. Now we'll actually change from pending to disabled. So Carbon Language, please do that for us, and I'll basically work on linking that for you directly after this. Nafi says in there, I tried so many times to get approval for my website, and always the answer is quality content is low. I have visitors to my website, and I get commission with Amazon. Nafi, if this is for the ad manager review, please comment your domain down in the comment section. I would love to pull it up on the live stream and basically share my screen and show exactly what Google looks for. I kind of mediate this process for a lot of Ezoic as a whole. So I'm constantly looking at domains and why they're getting disapproved for Google, or why I think they're getting disapproved for Google. So I've actually gotten pretty solid at picking apart these domains as if I were Google. They look for a lot of random little things that make sense but also not make sense. They're really, really big advocates for clear and organized navigation of your menu. So what that means is you do have dedicated categories of your blog that do lead to your content. If you have just blog, about us, and contact us, and under blog you have 5 different categories and 300 articles, Google's going to be like, this is actually low value content. Even though that denial reason absolutely makes no sense because you have tons of high quality content, The real issue is that you actually just don't have it well organized and built out in a menu. Another thing that they do for low value content, let's say you have 3 or 4 categories in your menu and they're all clear to find and they look really good. Let's go back to the car thing. Let's say you have, European cars and you have another category that's, Japanese cars and you have American cars. Well, let's say you actually have the same article showing under American cars and Japanese cars, even though that article is relevant to both categories. If it shows twice under 2 categories, Google's going to say that's actually low value content because you're just putting the article in 2 different places. So it's kind of diluting the mass of your articles. But there's a lot of other things that Google looks for. So if you're comfortable with it, please comment in your domain in the comment section. I can pull it up, share my screen. But again, we do have a really good support article for this that covers all these things. I'll add a few down there in the bottom. But yeah, Shark T, you're right. They're saying, wow, text to video, that's amazing. We agree. We think, creating video content for some is like second nature. A lot of them have YouTube accounts, but for many, many more, this is not as much of an easy, as easy of a process. But I will say this is a very, very exciting feature as someone that works for Ezoic, but also writes my content. So it's gonna be very exciting for me as a publisher, but also as an employee here, because the benefits will be tenfold for you all, which is really, really awesome. Oh yeah, and News Sports HD says, I already participated and got some AI video articles. I love it. That's amazing. News Sports HD's in here week after week, so they probably have seen this in the past. I know I've kind of beat around the bush and kind of talked about this, but not really got into it into detail. But I'm really, really happy for you that these AI video articles are working really well for you. That is really good to hear. Don't want to butcher your names. I do apologize, but AHM, they're saying I'm only on level 1, but my EPMV is too low. I'm getting more than 70,000 page views, but the EPMV is not more than even $3. Any suggestions for me? Yes, I have a lot of suggestions. More suggestions than I could probably fit in the next 30 minutes. 2 ways I can go about this. I can either pull up the domain I already have and just show you exactly kind of what I would look through in terms of optimizing EPMV through there. Or B, you can add your domain to the comment section. I can pull it up, share my screen, so I can actually troubleshoot your site that will be relevant to what your EPMV is. And basically show you all the things that I look for. But again, I'll answer the next couple questions to give you some time if you want me to either go through this example domain or your personal domain, because I'd be happy to do either. Johnny Cat says, can we see an example of an article that the AI created a video for you? I don't know if I have one pulled up. I think there's a database of list of domains here that have used them already, but unless it's one that you guys created, I'm not sure for privacy reasons. If I can share that here, just because it's not something I own. I want to make sure that it is okay with the publisher if I do share it. But I will have plenty more examples. This is still a beta feature, but Johnny Katz, maybe on Sports HD will actually use Sports HD will actually, maybe he'll send a page of one and say, hey, this is exactly what it looks like. It's really cool or it's not cool. Again, Johnny Katz, you can actually fill out the form for early access. They can create a video for you, but that doesn't mean that the video has to be implemented. It's still your domain. You can control 100% of the things that actually go onto the page. So again, this is up to you. Schwab sees, how are you, sir? NYC is happy to see you. San Diego is happy to see you as well here. I would love to actually, I will be going to New York City next week for some family business, so it's not as exciting, but I'm happy you joined. Shock TV says, are AI videos 100% automated? Yes, so if you do go into the actual Google Doc that I sent in the comment section above, you'll see that there are a couple things that are kind of essential. The articles need to be written in English for now. It needs to make sense as a narrative script. So it says there in parentheses, ask yourself if the written text of your article would be good to listen for 5 minutes, even without visual accompaniment. So what that basically also means is you don't want a page with, 20 sentences and 20 images, because that's not going to be easy for us to convert the actual text into a video. But maybe I can pull up one here and see what the videos actually look like and show you guys. Nafi says, can you please check it? I'm not seeing a previous question. Oh. Nafi, can you comment your domain in the comment section so I can actually see the domain? I'm going to put this again just so you guys can see that. Pakistan asks a great question here. When will Ezoic release my payment? So Ezoic actually works off a net 30 payout date. What that basically means is, let's say today's August 25th. Let's say in the month of July, I earned $45 in revenue. The $45 of revenue will be paid out at the end of August. So that will be the net 30 days after the earning of July, you'll get paid. So that again means July 31st comes, you've earned $45, and now basically the end of this month you'll get the payment before the latest, the 4th of May, because that's basically when ledger data is finally finalized. But yes, so earnings from July will be paid out at the end of August. So it's a net 30 payout. See the best places says, my Ezoic dashboard shows waiting on Google to review your domain under add manager domain status. It's been 2 days. How long does it take Google to usually review your site? This usually takes, well, what Google says is, it can take up to 2 weeks, but that's very long, and rarely it does go that long. Usually you can expect a review around, the 5-day mark. Sometimes it's literally a couple hours, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's 10 days. I really can't give an explicit answer. I really wish I could. I wish I had control over these reviews so I could expedite them and work on them myself, but unfortunately, it's done 100% outside of Ezoic. So other than submitting a site and giving feedback to Google of why they're messing up or not messing up, there's really nothing I can do from there. Form AI. Mark says Form AI. Oh, are you asking for the form? You would like the form? Because I can for sure share that with you. Yeah, I can share this a handful of times too, just to make sure no one's missing it. But Sharincha says, how do we get in touch with you via Twist? If you actually just post a thread, I'll go in there and just answer as I come across it. You don't need to tag me or anything. Just simply create a thread, post it in there. I'll show you guys exactly how to post a thread. But if you guys are having issues getting into Twist, please open up a support ticket, and we can basically figure out why that's happening. There was a couple issues we had, but we actually worked through all of those with Twist. But again, if you guys can't even reach support, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to put my email down in the comment section right now. I won't be able to answer site-specific issues like troubleshooting requests. But if you do send me an email and say, hey, Charlie, I see to make sure that I get into Twist. I'm really having issues. I can't get in. Send me a quick email. I just sent it down in the bottom of the comment section. I'll go through it after these to make sure all you guys that reach out are non-Twist do get into Twist. Oh, Manbila, he says, I keep sending my domain, but I don't know why you're not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing in there. If you are just sending just your domain, I would say maybe add like a sentence or two before. Maybe that's why it's filtering out some of the domains. But that's really annoying. I don't know why it's doing that. I might need to test this on my own after to make sure nothing's going on there. But say something along those like, here's my domain, so that way you actually have words before the domain name. I'm curious if StreamYard is kind of just removing those links, but that would be very annoying. But yes, Mark is right. For Twist, I will send you an invite. So if you guys are having trouble accessing Twist or support at all, please just send me an email. I just commented my email down in the bottom. Please let me know if you guys see that as well. I'll put it here for a second so you guys can see. Codivo Web says, hi, is there a reason why ads are not guaranteed to show on videos added to the site with the Ezoic video player? For a month now, I've randomly landed on some Ezoic websites having video placeholders, but I did not see any ads on the video. I visited a couple websites monetized with other ad networks, and I always see ads playing on their video placeholders. So this, normally videos will show, especially, depending on, kind of the data that the platform has for you specifically. But sometimes for like a brand new site that's really, really small and gets little to no traffic, sometimes you will actually have to build up kind of the enticement to these ad networks to actually bid on your inventory. So I've actually not seen this been an issue on Ezoic. Sometimes publishers add a video and they're not seeing ads right away. Sometimes it's just a timely manner. Sometimes it's an ads.txt issue. But I've not seen this on my end. I've seen others reach out about it, but then once you do just clear your cache and cookies, that's when the networks do they bid on your inventory, and then you can actually see them playing. So it'd be easier, of course, with an actual example of this. But the video ads will show, especially if you have them enabled, either pre-roll, mid-roll, or post-roll. But again, we're gonna have to basically build up a demand for these video ads as well. So while the demand already exists and is actually pretty relevant and is doing pretty good, there's still more of a demand to create over the next couple weeks and months moving forward. We do have an entire RevOps team, Codivo Web, that we do basically work on creating new relationships with ad networks, new opportunities for specific publishers, and so forth. Really, really good question here. Tech Timmy says, hey Charlie, can you remind me where in the dashboard I need to find my highest EPMV pages? So I'm actually just going to share my screen really quick because this is such a good question. And I really want to answer this really quick. So if I share, I'm here in my dashboard. So it'll actually be found under the analytics as this is a report. So if you go to analytics, wait for it to load, you can select the date range you want. Let's do for the entire month of August, just so we can see, with some more data, what actually is our highest performing pages. We're going to hit run report. So now we've pulled data for all these days. We can see, traffic, revenue by day. But if you actually over here on the left, see my cursor, you'll find content. If we actually click on content here on the far left, we'll find landing pages, and this will basically give you the report for your most frequently visited landing pages. So while you're saying, hey Charlie, this isn't showing exactly my highest EPMV pages, but I can show you basically how we can filter this. So right now, let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see this a bit better. So now we can actually see, your most frequently visited pages. It's not perfect, as you see, 760. Right, maybe it's going by page views right now. What we can actually do is, if we scroll over, we see EPMV. I can just pull this over here just so you guys can have a better visual representation of the domain, visits, page views, EPMV. And then if I actually click on EPMV right here where my cursor's at, it'll recategorize the pages based off your highest EPMV. So you can see that this page has an EPMV of $84. Of course, this is probably pretty heavily skewed. This looks like the publisher probably visited this page and went to a handful of different page views. But yeah, this is kind of why the metrics looks kind of funny. So this is kind of out of the scope of reality for this domain. But this will basically show you how you can see your highest performing pages. I would probably suggest, if you want to find your highest performing pages, to actually do filter it by visits. and then go through and actually see, for some of your highly visited pages, these are the ones that the AI has already kind of stabilized, optimized, and has kind of figured out. So you can see, you know what? Okay, so this is a pretty good article, NJIWC. This has a $31 EPMV, so this is really, really good. We have another one that's 34, another one that's 33, but we can even see ones here that are like, only $9. So then we can go ahead and visit those pages and say, oh, why is this only $9 and this one is 34? This is the homepage, so this is a bit different, as the homepage normally does have a lower EPMV, as users obviously aren't engaging with it like they do on normal page. We also don't show as many ads on those pages, but let's take a quick look. Waves, swells, and seas. Beautiful top of the page ad. StreamYard, how relevant as I'm using StreamYard. We have a nice sidebar, floating sidebar, one here. So the ad set actually looks pretty solid here. But maybe the second half of the article is why this EPMV is kind of lacking. That would be my best bet. Again, there's some other things we need to look into as well. But yeah, I would say like the later half of this, especially from here, you're seeing kind of some more empty inventory that could be better optimized. So again, placeholder setup is going to be some of the most key information in terms of EPMV. And if it's not that, then it's going to be your actual ad settings that you have enabled in the dashboard. This publisher actually has a handful of not enabled, just because that is what they prefer. For instance, vignette ads are a huge one that are not enabled here that could totally help. But yeah, that's kind of a good way to go through and check. That is on the shorter side of an article, but let's go to this one, for example. The New Jersey Intercoastal Waterway. So we actually have a very similar setup here. This one does have more sidebar content, which is probably why you see more of this. But then again, actually this ad setup is actually really low as well. I would even consider adding more. And it looks like this ad is not pulling through. So this is actually not the best example that I could have pulled up. But that's kind of the best way you can troubleshoot from there. Find your lowest earning pages and then kind of work backwards. I can definitely find a better example for this, but that is basically where you'll find your highest performing pages. Good question here. I bought a website from online market, but I can't add it to my Ezoic account. It shows that it already exists. So that just means that this publisher was already using Ezoic prior to you wanting to add it. So all you're gonna have to do is say, hey, reach out to us in support. So reach out to us in Twist and say, hey, I actually added, or you can say, hey, I bought this domain. I need help adding it to my account. We don't need to work with the previous publisher, only with you who owns the current domain. And you'll say, and we'll ask you to basically verify ownership of the domain. Sometimes that's just simply adding a line of text to one of your pages and then sending us that page so we can confirm that you are in full control of this domain. But yeah, just reach out to us in support and we can help you add it to your account by simply just verifying ownership. Phil says, I asked about this last week and waited for an improvement, but my cache rate still is not improved. It is around 95% for the first 2 weeks with Ezoic, but it's tanked to about 18%, has been there for 30 days or so. I've cleared the site cache and saw no improvement. What else can I do? So I think the later half of this comment is actually what's going to be the issue is. So if you are clearing the cache of your site, that will reset your cache hit rate to 0. So if you're clearing the cache every couple days, if you're clearing the cache for every couple days, that will reset it back to 0. So if you do reset your cache or clear it, wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you're making no changes to your content and just watch that cache hit rate build up over time. Again, if it was at 95%, it sounds like it was fully optimized. And if you made no changes to caching or if you didn't enable any caching outside of Ezoic, this should easily climb up to the 95% percentile over the next maybe week or two. Again, I can look into this. If you were to give me your domain name, I can make sure that it is the cache settings are set up correctly. I can visit a page and view the headers to make sure there's no external cache coming into play here. But it sounds like, based on the second part of the comment, that the best thing you can do is just to wait and not clear your cache. I'm going to show this banner again. Justin says for low EPMV. Justin, can you clarify? You said for low EPMV. Can you clarify what you mean by that? Shoaib says, should I use a Ezoic plugin or extension for manual ads using ads plugin? I would say use the Ezoic plugin to add placeholders to your pages, because that will actually add placeholders to all your pages all over. But the best thing to do then is to actually visit a handful of pages using the Chrome extension. You can see all the placeholders that get added to your pages. And then from there, you can just add more placeholders using the Chrome extension where you think will benefit your setup. Phil says, I waited about 2 weeks after resetting the cache. So that's definitely long enough where the cache should have built up. Phil, if you're okay with adding your domain name down at the bottom in the comment section, I can either pull that up right now and troubleshoot firsthand, either sharing my screen or not sharing my screen, whatever you're comfortable with, or just head to us in Twist right after this, and we can basically dissect and kind of intervene, see what exactly is going on here. Because it does sound like something is messed up with your setup, as 2 weeks is plenty of time, especially if you were already at 95%. Another thing I would ask you to look into, Phil, if you do have automatic, I see your comment, Phil, that says you can share it, but I'm actually not sure what your domain name is. If you want to send that down in the comment section, that would be really great. My follow-up question for you, Phil, would be if you are using automatic caching through the plugin, like our CDN management, and if you are making changes to your articles frequently, that will automatically clear the cache for your pages, which is why you might see it not increase over time. So if you are making edits to your pages, that could also be a reason why the cache is not increasing. Oh, Mark, thank you. Mark was saying that we have security settings set up here that gosh, that's annoying. Okay, I'll make sure I change the actual settings of this. It looks like I can do this right here, but it's not popping up. So, man, that's really annoying. I'm curious though, because Justin, okay. God, that's so annoying. I know someone commented earlier and put their domain name, I think it was Randall, but Randall must have done it through the Facebook Live, not through YouTube Live. God, that's so annoying. I can't believe I'm just figuring that out right now. Yeah, Randall shared his domain name through Facebook. If you guys want to send me a really quick email, just send me an email with your domain name and what you want me to look into, and also let me know if you're comfortable with me pulling that up for the actual live stream. Again, I just do my email down in. I can mark it as a banner right here so you guys can see, and I'll actually have my email open. But gosh, that's annoying. I'm looking up how to see if I can remove it really quick. Select content. Okay. YouTube Studio from the left menu, content, video thumbnail. Man, that's annoying. They're not gonna let me change my security settings here midstream. Guys, I'm sorry, that's really annoying. That's on me. I'll make sure I change those security settings just before, because gosh, that's annoying. Maybe if you guys want to try to add your domain name without .com or something, or maybe space it out by words, maybe that will help. Because I can actually search like half of your domain name through our admin to pull it up. But sorry about that. That's really annoying. I can't believe I'm just figuring that out now. Thanks for pointing that out there, Mark. And I can change the settings midstream, which is annoying, but I will be able to right after this. If I'm wait, let me leave my email up. But let me go back to these questions. Has Little Vegan says, if I'm using Open Lightspeed server and their plugin on WordPress, should I disable their plugin and install yours? Do you have any suggestions to optimize Open Lightspeed? So if Open Lightspeed is a CDN or a server, I would actually say just disable it entirely, because you will be using our CDN and you can also use our caching. A lot of the times these optimizers or servers or caching plugins will create a lot of conflict with the way our CDN does work. So if you can actually just disable it entirely, I would probably suggest doing that. Nice. Okay, sweet. These emails are coming through. Sweet. Let me catch up here. And Justin was saying, I guess there's no way to share a domain here. I wanted to check my blog to see if why my EPMV is low, but I've shared it too many times and you can't see it. Is there any other way you can share it? Yeah, Justin, send me a quick email to the one right there, and I'll definitely check into that. I'll answer these couple ones and then go through the questions. Tech Hub says, AdSense mediation is taking too long to activate. Any solution for that? Yes. Reach out to us really quickly, or God, I wish you guys could share your domain. This is such an issue. If you go into the mediation app of your dashboard, Tech Hub, and if you see that mediation is set for pending for AdSense, reach out to us in support. Send us your pub ID, and I can actually link it through the back end. Normally, when AdSense wins the first bid on your inventory over Ezoic, it'll change from pending to set. But I can link this for you if it's taking too long. Phil says he tried to add the domain with the spacebar as well, but that didn't work either. Email sent with the domain. Sweet. I do have your thing right here. Thank you. Pull up your dashboard. Okay, sweet. Thank you for doing that for us, Phil. I do appreciate that a lot. Share my screen. Cool. Okay, awesome. So if we're here, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, just for better visual representation. So if we're in the home page, obviously, if I'm Phil, I'm saying, okay, well, I can see my cache rate has kind of been here. It's been down here at the bottom. Mediation earnings are coming through. Sorry, I tend to get sidetracked when I look through these things. But yeah, if you guys are unfamiliar with the dashboard and where to actually find your cache, you can actually head to the speed tab right here. This is basically where we will find all of our caching purposes. And then in the second tab here, we'll find speed, which goes to Leap, but we want to select caching, of course. If we go down to caching, we can basically see the rules of what they are set. Based off first things first, your default cache age is set to 30 days. This is beautiful. Minimum cache age is for 30 minutes. Wait, I think this is no, it's in seconds. So 30 seconds. Excuse me, 300 seconds. That's perfect. So both of these are perfect. Forced caching by device type is on. Grace period 600 seconds. That's perfect. So the two things that are currently turned off will actually help your cache a ton, because if you are cooking a bunch and you don't have this on, that will be the reason why we can't get those. So I won't make these changes on your end, Phil, because this is your domain and I don't want to do this without your consent. And I don't see you saying I can change them. So what I would do for you is I would actually go and hit edit and then just turn this value to on and then save. For both enable caching for cookies and for override cache control headers, turn both of these values to on. Let's see what else you have. Any exclusion rules? You're excluding cache on this. So if this was set on purpose, if you do want to set this rule for the entire directory of this /feed, if you did this on purpose, then that would make sense as to why cache might also not increase. If you have tons of URLs and pages that, follow this, that would make sense as to why. Oh, even though I see you have this only set to this page. Debug cache. We can actually grab a URL here and see why, but it actually will show you your top pages that are missing cache. What we can actually do is, this is kind of funny, drinking and bike packing sober versus buzz versus drunk. This is actually an amazing article. I'm going to have to give this a read post live stream because I'm interested. Interesting. Okay. When cache misses scenes, appropriate caching response to the next page view. See if the override cache header is turned on. So that's probably why you're seeing this all the time for the same page. So if you guys are seeing this reason for the cache miss, this basically is showing that this page was not cached, but now upon the next visit will be cached. So that probably is a misconfiguration between your settings. Again, if we want to look here, override cache control headers currently set to no. We want to change those to on because the rest of the settings look great. So they should be getting cached upon further requests. I did also recently learn that if you have traffic across many different servers, let's say you're having like a lot of US traffic and you're seeing this, subsequent calls will be cached, and then you're seeing more visits to the page. If it's actually in another region coming to a different server, you can actually see the same reason. This is actually a newer learn for me. I just learned this recently. But let's say you had someone visit your page from Ireland to this exact page where the next visit should be cached. If it's on another server, sometimes that happens. So that's just another thing to consider. But again, if we were to actually just go to this page, I can show you guys how we can use the Chrome extension, which is not enabled on this browser. That's annoying. But if you were to actually have the Chrome extension enabled on your page, you can activate the Chrome extension, and then you can debug cache specifically from this page. But there is one other thing that I wanted to show you in terms of cache, and that'll be under the Analytics tab as well. So if we do go to the Analytics tab here, if we see site speed over here on the left, so just under the contents and the sites we're looking at, you go to site speed. You can actually see caching, and then what we want to do is set Ezoic caching. From here, we'll basically get a graph of our cache hits, our cache misses, and our cache off, and then we can basically filter through there to see kind of whichever avenue we want to actually check out. But of course, in this one, we want to check out the cache misses. So if we hit cache miss, we'll basically then see the URLs, the amount of times it's been missed, but then thirdly, the reason why is the reasons for the cache missed. We'll give it a second. Sweet, so we can see that this is basically going to be the issue for all of yours, is that subsequent calls will be cached, which basically means turning on that override cache control headers will help here, and making sure that the rest of those are actually also turned on. But again, the rest of your settings look fine, so like even if we go to the third page, I'm assuming we're still going to be seeing the same reason here. So Phil, I would suggest changing those settings right now to on for both of those. And then basically you should be even see the cache increase over the next, 24 to 36 hours minimum. But yeah, that's basically going to be my, I can go deeper into this again on my own. After this, I can actually go to all the pages and making sure that even if I turn those settings on, those will be turning into cache hits. But I do appreciate you sharing that with me. Oh, my screen share is super blurry, man. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh, and so Phil's saying I can make those changes for him, and I did not see that feed exclusion. So I will actually change these settings for you right now. I'll share my screen again really quickly. Hopefully it's not blurry, like Tech Timmy was saying. That's annoying. I do apologize. I'll try to work slower to make sure it just renders in time. Let me actually stop this really quick. Sorry. I'm being a little annoying right now. But I do appreciate you guys, sending me your emails over really quick or your domains. I still have my email tagged up right now. So if you guys do want me to look into your EPMV, someone else sent me one about low value content. Yes, you can share. Thank you. Cool. I'll pull that one right up after. Okay, this is up. I'm gonna share my screen again really quick. Boom. Window. Share. Cool. So yeah, let's go back to the speed tab. What I was just doing. We're gonna find caching. I wasn't sure if you wanted. Oh, Phil works very quick, as you guys can see. Phil already changed those. This is still here. You can actually edit this to always see how it says always exclude for this page only. For that entire to follow subdomain with this. You can make those changes on your end again. But sorry for going back and forth so much. But I'm actually answering these questions before I go into this next one. This question is, if I have a query, should I raise it on support community under access now, or is there another ticketing system? So if you are in the community, that means you already did your 45 days through Ezoic in Twist, which is kind of like your optimization time, and we're kind of everything configured. But I would say just actually post that in the community, and I can check right after. You can try opening up a ticket, but I think it's just going to send you back to the community since you have already gone through the whole optimization process. But then again, Madsen if you are confused on actually where or even how you can get support, of course, this is a huge issue. I want to basically work this out so you guys know exactly where to go. Just send me a quick email and I'll figure that out for you. Aziz says I'm earning less with Humix. What were you using prior is my going to be my follow-up question, and then we can actually just go into things from there. Annex says, hey Charlie, do you know if alcohol-related niche has a low EPMV or not necessarily? Read somewhere advertisers don't want to pay much on those types of sites. So that you kind of touched on a really good point there. It kind of can depend on exactly what the content in terms of alcohol is. If you're saying, if the article is, hey, how to obtain alcohol as an underage minor, I cannot imagine any network saying, hey, let's put our StreamYard ad on this page. This is what we want to see. Not only that, but I don't think Ezoic wants to even, offer that page of monetization to our ad networks. So I do want you to think about that. It is not against policy. Google policy does allow it actually. So, that is a really good thought to consider. I don't think I can give you an explicit answer. I don't have the ad networks inside scoop. I've never worked for an ad network like that before. But yeah. Timmy says, are your previous sessions pre-recorded? I always learn so much. Can you throw a link here if so? I'm happy you find them beneficial. I really do. If you actually go to our YouTube channel, our Zoe YouTube channel, all of them are pre-recorded. I'm pretty sure they're set in a playlist of their own. I'm going to show this banner again. I know you guys have seen it before, but if you guys have just joined, okay, yeah. So if you guys have just joined recently, if you guys see this Google Doc here, you can actually sign up for early access to what we will, I don't know if we have a name for it yet, but it basically will be converting your written content into videos. So go ahead and sign up through this link right now. I just put it in the comment section so you can actually click on it and fill it out. Super exciting feature. It's going to be really, really cool going forward. But yeah, you guys can get up to 2 videos for now while we still are testing this. Yes, it's beta and it's new, but it does not mean it's brand new. We haven't tested and reconfigured things. It's still a work in progress, but it should be really good. AHM says, why is my comment being auto-deleted? I'm trying to share my domain name. Excellent advice. I can actually pull it up just like that. But before I do that, Timmy says, subscribe. We'll be binge watching tonight. Well, hopefully I don't drive you insane. Sometimes I feel like I can be a broken record and go off on little mini tangents, but sometimes I think it's even kind of fun. But I did get an email and the question was, can you look at my site? It's being denied for low value content. I think this is actually will be a really good thing for you guys all to see. I can kind of just investigate. My Inspector Steve hat is what I call it. But I just want to first go and make sure I want to make sure the actual reason you're being denied by Google, which it does look like it's low value content. So the best thing is to pull up the domain, boom, and I'll share my screen now that I have it pulled up. Okay, cool. So let me share my screen and kind of show you. So let's just imagine my head is a giant Google symbol, and I'm actually going to be reviewing your site as if I were Google Ad Manager. I will show you the things I look for and basically inspect this site firsthand. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just on the home page. I wish I could read and write French, so I do apologize, but I'm going to translate this to English just so I can kind of understand exactly what's going on here. I wish I was duo trilingual. Unfortunately, I'm not. So this looks like it's some type of Dart site. This is actually super cool. You can see welcome, learn to play, purchase guide, info and news, and progress. So you do have a built-out menu right here that does lead to a majority of the content, looks like. I do want to check the bottom of the page to make sure that you do have, a contact us or an about us, because when you do show ads, you will need to have both a contact us and a link to your privacy policy. So that's probably the first 2 things that I would suggest adding. But then just going through how to protect your wall, 5 reasons to play darts, 5 ways to make your dart board last longer, how to win at darts, how to hold a dart, how to sharpen your darts. So if I were to Google looking at this, the really, really good thing I would first want to say and point out is that this follows one niche. It's clearly about darts. It looks like there's a lot of really valuable information that they have here to offer. So, if I'm looking at it and saying how to prevent from damaging your walls from playing darts. Let's just pretend for a second that I can read French. Basically, Google, sorry, this page needs to load first. But I'll basically be going through your pages to make sure that this is relevant. It looks like you have, a couple of valid affiliate links, like you have these backboards that you keep score. But I wouldn't even say that's as vital to actually what Google's looking for here. So if I go welcome, I believe this is the home page. What I'll basically do as I'm Google is go through the categories of your menu to make sure that you have sufficient content everywhere. So I'm first going to learn to play, tic-tac-toe, darts, how to play, killer, these are the rules. So just visiting this first section right here, I now know 100% the reason why Google is denying your domain. And it's because you only have 1, 2, 3 articles under this category. You're going to actually have to make sure that you do have 5 to 6 articles per category of your menu. So right off the bat, this section of your menu only having 3 articles under it is going to be the reason why Google is denying your domain. If you were to add 2 to 3 more articles that are all relevant to this category, then it'll get approved. But I want to make sure that you don't repeat articles in this category that you do this one. So I'm seeing the best darts for kids, best at-home darts. See how this one has 5 articles as 2, 4, 5? That's great, and none of them are repeating. So that's really good. And then the next one, I'm going to go to info and news, top 5 reasons to play darts. But this one, how to protect your walls from playing darts, is now a repeated article, I believe, or is it not? So this actually looks good. I want to make sure that this article's not under this one as well, which it's not. Perfect. Because that will create issues if you have, let's say, how to protect your walls while playing darts. If this was also under learn to play, that would be an issue. If it's on your homepage, that's totally fine, but you want to make sure that articles do not repeat under these categories. So info and news, this part looks great. I see tons of articles. There's even a second page there. That's beautiful. And then I'm going to go to progress and say how to win at darts, how to hold a dart. And this one only has 4 articles. So this category of your section and this category of your section is actually going to get flagged by Google for low value content. The actual content and articles aren't low value. That's not the point, which is why Google is weird and I'll even say dumb. What I would say for you specifically, the best way to navigate this denial is to maybe just consolidate this category with this one. So that way you can have there's 4 here and there's 3 on the other page. That way you can have 7 articles in total for both progress and learn to play. You will want to think of a kind of a category of your menu that's relevant to all of the articles that will fall under it. So I wouldn't say, learn to play. Well, actually, learn to play does. Actually, I would say learn to play is pretty. Yeah, learn to play is kind of relevant to all of these. So I would actually say just remove progress and add all of these articles to learn to play. While improving isn't exactly how to play, how to win is technically how to play, and how to hold a dart is technically learning how to play. So again, let's add these 4 articles to this section of your menu, remove this, add a privacy policy and contact us, and I'm very confident that this domain will be approved from then. So yeah, Google does look for some random weird things in these reviews, but that for sure will be the reason, A, why you're getting denied, and B, how to get an approval. Sorry if that was a bit of a tangent. I do apologize. Oh, and it says, thanks, Shirley. Because of your great support, I was upgraded to level 2 earlier this month. I would love to sit here and claim that it was my support that got you to level 2. But in all reality, that your hard work, your content writing, your SEO efforts, your Ezoic optimization is actually the reason you got to level 2. So while I would love to sit here and try to take credit, I'm going to derive the credit right back to you. I'm happy I could help with this, but you for sure need to give the credit to yourself because that's on you, and that's awesome to hear. I think for a lot of, this is not super relevant, but for a lot of publishers, they kind of join Ezoic and they're in access now. They only see 1 or 2 visits, and they're kind of like, wow, getting to level 2 is such a far stretched idea. That's $100 of revenue or more and 10,000 visits in a month or more. But in all reality, you have all the access to the Ezoic features to help your site grow. It's an all-in-one platform to do everything you need. We're only going to expand on that more and more. But I do want you guys to know that there is the light at the end of the tunnel. You can upgrade, you can get there. You just need to put in the groundwork, which, as you guys know, is probably the hardest, most extensive part before you even see a penny or two come in from ads. It's a process that I'm learning as well. You just got to write, you got to edit, you got to work on SEO, you got to do research, you got to stay on top of your niche. But I love to hear this. This is honestly why I enjoy my job, because I see these types of improvements. I see you guys making money on your things, on your domains, and I love it more than anything. Tech Timmy says, I have a site that ranks super well for target keywords, 80% ranking, number 1, but my category structure is terrible and needs updating. Would you do it or leave it alone? So this is totally up to you. But wow, you have 150 articles that and most rank number 1. So that's really, really good. I wouldn't leaving the articles alone, and the word structure and the sentence structure is, I would say to actually just leave that. But if you do want to rework the menu, that's totally fine. If you think it'll be easier for your users to actually find the articles, that's totally fine. But I would say the rearranging the articles, as I was just showing you on the other domain, that's more specific to actually just getting the approval from Google Ad Manager. I wouldn't say it's as needed in terms of SEO and whatnot. But again, that is some really good stuff so far. 150 articles that rank number 1. That's beautiful. And then again, yeah, congrats, Annex. That is actually very, 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 very awesome. I'm going to pull up this banner again in case you guys want to join. Here I am, Charlie the Broken Record. Guys, you can fill out this form for early access to basically allow us to convert some of your written content into video ads. I know you guys have probably all heard this. I don't think I have anyone new. But if you are new, click on that link down in the comment section, submit that form, and you basically get early access to 2 free videos to be made for you guys. Hi, Charlie. With the updates coming from Google, do you think it makes more sense if we focus only on one site? It seems to me that Google heavily favors single site webmasters. No, I mean, do you literally mean of having more than one domain under one account? If that's what you mean? If that's what you mean, then no. I would definitely say focus on all your domains in the same way. But if you do mean that, should I focus on one niche or topic for one domain? I would 100% say yes, because Google, if they're seeing, if they want to see helpful content, then helpful content most likely will be all under one realm of one topic or niche. So having, cars and entertainment and movies and actors and history, and while all that information might be very valuable to a certain user or group, having it kind of this wide variety of topics doesn't really help dial in one niche, so Google could then maybe create issues. And that's what I would probably say, maybe focus on one topic or niche for one domain, and maybe create another domain, a brand new one, and use that existing content that you already have that's irrelevant, and just maybe add another domain. But if your question is, will Google basically hurt you if you have multiple domains that you're running under an AdSense or Google account or an Ezoic account, then definitely not. Google will not hurt you for that. USport says, very interesting tips about monetization and approvals. These explanations are very helpful to speed up the process. Yes, so actually that low value content is the most common reason why Google will deny, and it is really important to just go through the categories of your menu to make sure you have sufficient articles and content under each one. I cannot harp on that enough. That's going to be very, very vital to this. Colin says, how many articles per menu item would you show in the top navigation? So how many articles per menu category? I would say, I said this earlier, but 5 to 6 minimum articles should be showing from right then and there. But then if the other way I could potentially interpret this question is, how many categories in your menu would you have that are specific to your content? I don't think we've gotten direct feedback from Google about this, but I would say maybe somewhere around like the 2 to 3 categories, or maybe even 4. Let's say again, I keep on bringing up cars, but I love cars and mine is a car domain. So let's say I have maintenance. Let's say I have like purchase, and then let's say I have like news. So that way I have, I have 3 different sections. That's probably a good enough variance, and make sure I just have 5 to 6 articles under each category there. And it says, Charlie, how do you always stay so positive? I think I might go on a little bit of a rant. I'll answer this in a second. How about that? Oh, the banner stays if I just unclick. I'm such a ding dong. Wow. I can just All right. Just learned something new with StreamYard. Sorry about that, guys. But I will answer that in a question because I think I can answer this in an actual productive way. The next one is Mark says, this may help the house. Based on my own experience, I would say I have 1 to 3 categories and no less than 7 to 10 articles for each category. And each article should have at least 500 words. Make sure you have this page of about site, privacy policy, terms and conditions, contact us. And get some organic traffic for around 14 to 30 days before applying to AdSense. Do this, and I'm sure between 48 hours to 14 days, your site will be approved. I'm actually gonna 100% agree with Mark here. He is spot on exactly with this. This is basically perfect guidelines, and I think especially with the organic traffic for 14 to 30 days, Mark is 100% on point. I almost want to read this back to you guys because it's so perfect. 1 to 3 categories, 7 to 10 articles per category, 500 words per article, privacy policy, about us, contact us, some organic traffic, and he's 100% right. Mark, thank you for that. That was beautiful. And he says, so Charlie, how do you always stay so positive? Well, I'm not always so positive. I definitely like to be positive in front of you guys all here, but I will say that being in front of you guys does entice me to be positive because you guys put in a lot of work on your end and are like really ambitious, and I think it's really impressive to see someone build something from the ground up, and then not only that, being a ton of hard work that's kind of demoralizing at many points, but to actually see those first bit of earnings is not only like the validation that you guys need to show that your hard work is going to it, but basically I get really happy about that because I do see you guys go through all that hard work where many others would just kind of walk away and quit. And I think this kind of goes back to who I am as a person. I will say that I am an empath and I like to help others. So main thing with me even applying to jobs before Ezoic, I didn't want to put myself in a position where I wouldn't be able to help others, especially in a position like this. Like honestly, the harder I work and the more I work, the better you guys will do and the more money you guys will make. So I don't mean that from a business standpoint. I literally mean that in the fact that me knowing that you guys are going to be making more money in the long term and short term, basically validates and basically gives me all the justification I need to, basically work hard. I don't think that made a ton of sense what I just said. Hopefully it did a little bit. But yeah, I just love to see you guys work hard because you guys are very motivated on your end. And I'll do anything in my power to help expedite this or basically do anything to help you guys earn more. Again, that was a little bit of a rant and wasn't super on point, but Annex is exactly also right here. I just want to tell everyone not to give up. One of my articles all of a sudden became my most popular page as an EPMV of over $50. Yes, that is crazy. But what's not crazy about this is it is actually a reality for all of you guys, regardless of where you are and who you write to. You can always change the way how you guys want to operate. and work things. We can continually work on using these new features and pre-existing features to get you to this point. Because Annex is saying, wow, all that progress I put in, in the past, I'm seeing these crazy benefits. But, if he continues these same efforts, a year from now, he could be level 4 and say, wow, not only do I have an article that has an EPMV of $50, maybe that article is literally earning $50 to $100 a day alone, which is very, very, very doable and is being done by many other publishers on this. So I want to say, don't get discouraged. We can help you out, and I'm 100% willing to do whatever I can to help with this process. Justin, you said please check your email. I'm actually checking it. I don't see an email sent to me. I checked my spam. There's nothing there. I check all my other ones live. I'm not seeing anything there. My Drive, AdSense. Yeah, just I'm not seeing the email. If you want to send it again really quickly, and I can pull it up before we close out here. Tech Timmy says, curious as to whether anyone here was hit by latest Google helpful content update. Charlie, what are you guys seeing there? Too soon to tell? I would say maybe right now it's too soon to tell. I think how Ezoic works and how I also work is I will speak, I will basically say things that are supported by data and things that we actually see. So as much as I can rant and say what I think this will be and how it will or might not be beneficial for others, I think it's way more important to speak off the basis of data that we've seen. So probably around this time next week, I'll probably have seen a lot more cases of, and examples of publishers either getting hit negatively or taking a huge benefit positively. From there, I think it'll be better to give my 2 cents and say, hey, I did see this publisher take a pretty big hit to traffic, but I did notice that they do cover 5 different topics inside one domain, and a lot of their articles weren't super relevant or helpful, as Google will say. So as much as I want to, answer this perfectly right now, I do think it'll be best for me to just look at the data, look at a bunch of sites, do a couple case studies, and then give you my 2 cents. If I edit an article that has been converted to the video AI, will the video update as well? That's actually a really good question. I don't know the answer to this, but based off the top of my head, I would probably think not. We'll probably create the videos directly off the content that is currently on the page, but don't quote me on that. Don't come at me with pitchforks and fire and an angry mob. If it does update, which I don't see that being an issue either, but I do not think they will update yet. But that's off no data, no real evidence from the team. So I don't know, but I will get an answer for you this, Phil. I can even email it to you back now that I have your email. I'll ask him right after this. Charlie, what are your thoughts on building email lists for blogs? Do you know of success stories when bloggers got decent following and made consistent ad money from this list visiting these articles? Absolutely. I think creating an email list is very vital. I mean, many companies from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, basically everyone does this. They have their subscribe list. They have, their, hey, you can subscribe to my channel. So whenever I post a new update or new video or new blog, you do kind of get these, these things. But it's kind of a really good way for you to stay engaged with your users. You're constantly making changes. They're constantly looking for new things. So bridging that gap of finding what you can supply and what the user needs through this email list is nothing but a benefit. Even if it only works at a 10% success rate, let's say you have 1,000 people you're emailing, you're now engaging 100 more users to a couple of your pages. So I would definitely say that building an email list is of huge benefit for you all. Let me make sure this is still in the dashboard. But you do have articles and all the resources from Content Month, which is still technically going on. Excuse my ums and my ands. I don't like when I do that, but sometimes it comes out just to buy time. But yeah, I would say visit, all of our content months. We basically have 4 weeks of data. We actually created an entire PDF, which is kind of like a mini textbook of basically that covers this. But we did go over an email list and kind of social media traffic for an entire week. So the data and information is there for us to find. Phil says, thank you for doing these live streams. Much appreciated. Yeah, of course. I actually love doing these live streams. It shows to you guys that I'm not just a random sentient AI that's offering support and twist in the back end. I am a real person. I am a real publisher just like you guys, so I really do care about your guys' success. When you guys do come to support and you do have issues, I really do care. I want to get those resolved as quickly as possible because your guys' success really does mean the world to me. That's basically what I base my personal success off of, is basically how well you guys are doing. Good question here at the bottom. Is it possible to convert every popular article on our blogs with the Ezoic video AI? I would be willing to pay for it as well. So that is the goal of this. But before we do roll it out to every publisher for every article, we want to make sure that basically this is a well-performing, a well-functioning, a well-oiled machine and feature. So yes, it will be. I'm not sure if I doubt this will be a paid feature. That's not really how Ezoic works. Ezoic would rather give you guys all the resources for free and then have you guys basically work from there. Ezoic is never going to be the company that's going to look how to suck out the last dollar from each and one of you. Quite literally the opposite. I'm going to mark this room for an extra 10 more minutes because we have some more users in here before I get kicked out of this room. Look, sweet. But quite literally this conversation has come up with a couple other features, especially things like hosting that takes up so much server space and basically storage usage. But when it came down to it, basically the people at at the top of Ezoic, the people that started Ezoic, everyone in the C-suite, like Dwayne and Dan, the CMO, the CTO, John, Mike, everyone was saying no. Like, we're not going to make users pay for bigger sites to use our hosting. Ezoic, that's not basically the intention of Ezoic. The intention is not, again, to suck every dollar out of using our features, but basically to give you guys 100% of the features that you guys need to use your site for free, and then basically work from there. So while I would say, paying for an early access thing would be like a cool benefit if you're willing to do that, Ezoic is not going to make you guys pay for features that we're going to offer for free for everyone. I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but it is something I do want to just really emphasize because not many other companies are doing that. A lot of people come to Ezoic saying, hey, this is just another really good ad network. Maybe you guys heard X and Y is a really good feature why you came. I'm assuming maybe the ad tester, but you'll soon come to realize that Ezoic is actually just an all-in-one publisher tool that you guys can use. Of course, it has our AI and hosting and many other things and play with it. But yeah, Ezoic is never going to do anything to make you guys pay for unnecessary features. We're just going to give them to you guys for free, so that way you guys can run wild, grow your sites as big as you want, because that's ultimately what I want to see and what others want to see. Annick says, I emailed you about the new topic suggestions feature, but you don't have to read it if you have other questions to answer. I don't think I saw it, which is kind of concerning because now I'm thinking that some emails are coming through. I sent you a message on Twist. Okay, Justin, I can definitely answer you on Twist right after this. But now I'm like, why the heck am I not getting emails from you other? I only got one from Master and from Phil. Annex, can you send me one more if possible? One more email with that question. I just sent it there at the bottom. What the heck? I didn't mistype my name, that's for sure. But yeah, I'll leave this. We can carry on the live stream for another like 4 or 5 minutes. If you guys want to say, hey, Charlie, Ezoic's great, but I really want this, or Ezoic's great, but this sucks, or hey, Charlie, Ezoic sucks for this reason, or hey, Ezoic rocks for this reason. We want more of this. You can, guys, honestly give me direct feedback for live streams, for the platform, for how we do support, for how we run the program. We are willing to make these changes for you guys to whatever works best. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, our system's the best. It's perfect. It's unfalsifiable. There's plenty of things we need to work on. We work on these things every single day. But sometimes it's best to just hear from you guys directly and say, hey, we want this, or we don't want this, or we want that. Tech Timmy, not a dumb question. There's no such thing as a dumb question, by the way. These are all very valid. Twist is actually what we use to offer our main avenue of support. So if you guys have any questions with how this program actually works, if you're having any issues with or if you're having any issues with specific feature or error on a page, blah blah blah, you can actually use Twist, which is kind of like an open-ended Discord, similar to how something like Slack works. But it's basically an open-ended Discord where you guys can actually go in, post threads, and ask questions. Tech Timmy, if you are in the Access Now or Level 1 program, you should be using Twist. So this is kind of something I want to make sure that you have. I'm going to post an article down here in the comment section of actually how to utilize and access Twist. Please check out this article right here. But now, hopefully you can just copy it from the actual comment section here. If not, it's just type in Ezoic how to use Twist in Google Search Console and it will for sure show up. And I said, emailed you again. If you are out of time, just delete it. That's if I get it. Let me double check this. My computer is about to die, but I do have my email pulled up on here as well. I'm not getting it. So now I'm genuinely concerned. So now I'm going to actually go over to our tech security team after this to make sure and see why the heck I'm not getting these emails, because that is nobody else. Oh, Tech Timmy says, I think I'm level 3. So yeah, if you're level 3, you'll actually have an account manager to reach out directly to who will help you with those things. He can review your site. That is something I would be happy to do if you were in Twist. But I think we're going to have to keep an organized structure here, so you can just reach out to your account manager for this. But congrats on being on level 3. That's awesome. I'm not sure if you came through the Access Now program or the level 1 program or Access Now program, but if you did, congrats on the success. If not, congrats on the success. Regardless, I think I can speak for everyone here and say congrats on the success. But that's awesome. That's really, really awesome. But yeah, I'll leave this open for 2 more minutes. And it says, no problem. I will wait for the suggestion feature to come with new ideas. Thanks for the great stream. As always, Charlie, have a lovely weekend ahead. I appreciate that, Anix. You're very nice, very considerate. I hope you have a lovely weekend as well. I know we're up on Friday Eve, so I hope you guys do have a safe, healthy, and happy weekend. If you guys do work a lot throughout the week on your domain and you guys all have other jobs as well, I think it's really, really important sometimes just to step away for 10 hours straight or an entire day or maybe even an entire weekend and just give yourself some time to just, decompress. You guys are really motivated all the time. So I would say, it's really good to just take a step back. Of course, from a business standpoint, I should be saying, hey, do your homework, now write more content, work on your SEO. But I'm also going to tell you to say, take a step back, take a deep breath. It's important to focus on yourselves just as much as your website. And then, you can always come back the next day with a clear, fresh mind. But also, if you do work on your domains on the weekend, maybe it'll be cool to maybe take yourself to your favorite place and work on your domain if that's a thing for you. Maybe go to a local park or go to a local coffee shop, or maybe sit down on the couch and pull up your favorite TV show. But I do think creating that type of environment for yourself does work best in terms of productivity. I think it does the same for me. if I were to sit down at my desk at home where I do the same, where I also work, sometimes it puts me in that mindset of like, I'm working, this is work, this isn't fun. But quite on the contrary, sometimes if I hotspot on my phone and maybe I'll go to the beach and just work on my computer from the beach a little bit, that just kind of takes you out of that work mindset. Sometimes your creative writing will flow. Sometimes you'll have new ideas. Maybe you'll want to film a video. A little bit too much of a rant, but you guys get what I'm getting at here. Before I close this, I want to make sure I get these questions. Hey Charlie, can we have the dashboard earnings in our own currency? That way I don't have to keep doing currency conversion. That's actually a great idea, and I feel like someone just asked this in Twist recently. If not, someone asked this in internally. So I'm actually just gonna write this out right now. I'm actually just gonna write this to our team right now, so that way I don't forget. Sorry. I just wanted to write that down, and so Humpty and Bex, I just sent that recommendation over to our team and to our lead and to the tech team that could also potentially build out this feature. So that's also, if you guys are like, hey, I have a feature request, that's basically what I'll be doing. I think that's one of the hard things of actually working with Google is you kind of have to work through the hierarchy of of how their business works, but we're actually self-organized, so we represent our own circle. We don't have to go through 15 layers of higher ups. We basically just can take this feedback directly. It's already been sent to our team and to our lead and to the tech team, and they can say, hey, Charlie, we actually already have a feature in progress for this, or maybe we can't do this for X or Y reason. But that's also why Ezoic is so cool, because your recommendation from your keyboard is now already being read by the developers and our lead itself. And I'm more than happy to do that for any type of feature requests, because I think something like that would be very, very valuable. Beatrice says, glad you joined live stream. I'm happy to join the live stream, because if you found something beneficial for this, then I will definitely be redoing these. Annex, so you can actually get paid in euros instead of the dollar, but that you might have to just pay a conversion fee through basically whatever you use to get paid out wise, or paying here, or whatever you use. Hiring content writers for Ezoic users would be awesome. So this has definitely been brought up a ton, and I think there's a really good idea here, but I agree that's been talked about a bunch. What are the requirements to get accepted in Ezoic Premium? So there's actually not. There is. So it's actually not as much of a waiting list. It's actually, so you can submit your site to be on a waiting list, and we'll review sites constantly. But the best thing you can do is to not actually meet requirements, but just continue to work on your domain. If you're continually writing content, continually working on SEO, you'll see those benefits stack up over the long term. And the longer you're on the platform and the more continuous success that you see and progress that you see, will actually increase the chances of you getting invited to premium. Oh, nice. Just out of curiosity, before I close this all out, I'm curious where you guys are checking in from in Europe. Just out of pure curiosity. Tech Timmy says, small thing, on the content report, can you have them move EPMV over to after the site visitor count? That's what most of us care. Save an extra step of moving it after. Yes, I can definitely put this request in. So on the content report, yeah. I actually think that's a really valuable idea, because EPMV is stuck on the very, very far right side. So yes, I totally see what you're getting at here, Tech Timmy. We can do that for sure. But yeah, I mean, exactly. If this is kind of a small thing, but if it's annoying for you guys, it's definitely going to be annoying for many others. So it's definitely something we can work on. But okay. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. That was a good, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's a long time, but it flies by. Oh, you guys are from the South Coast UK, Great Britain. Awesome. I'm actually hoping to get over there. We do have an office over in the UK, and I'm hoping to get over there soon, but that's awesome. You guys are checking in from all the way over there. I think that's also a really cool reason why these live stream exists, because it kind of brings us into the same place, regardless of where we're from. But again, don't thank me, thank you guys for showing up. Oh, he's an astrophotographer. That's so cool. I can see that by your what's it called? Your icon here. But yeah, astrophotography. That's incredible. I myself and many others at Ezoic, we've been tripping on that new NASA telescope. They have, what is it called, Jacob or whatever that program is called. But yeah, those pictures are incredible. I think we're all huge fans of astrology as well. But yeah, thank you guys again. Stop thanking me, thank yourselves and everyone else for showing up, or else these live streams wouldn't exist. Again, I'll be in Twist the rest of the day. You guys can reach out to me there. I think I'll be here next week on Thursday. If not, we'll try to have someone take over. We do have a funeral service I have to attend, so it's nothing exciting that I get to skip out on. But gotta show up for family. Again, thank you guys for coming. I love hearing from you guys. You guys are the best. Stay motivated. I will help you throughout this process as much as I can, I promise. But again, when Humpy's is in England, that's awesome. I want to get there as well. Many thanks to the King of Access Live Now Talk Show. Honestly, I might just end up changing this to live stream support to, I kind of just want to run it as a talk show. I think that's way more exciting. I think, oh, from France, that's super cool. I feel welcome. But yeah, I think I'm going to change this to the talk show. So now this is going to be, next week is officially going to be the talk show if I run it. But yeah, you guys are the best. Again, thanks for checking in. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in Twist, and I'll see you guys next week. Continue to work on your stuff, continue to optimize, but also continue to take a step back, give yourself that mental break, allow yourself to regenerate. It's important to keep yourself optimized as well. But again, cheers. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, everyone. Be safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Cheers.